What up, Ninja Clan, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I am, as always, your host, the Atomic Ninja G, and today we are going to be taking a deep dive into all the things that Jafar can do and investigating the ways that we can beat Jafar in the newest Illumineers quest from Disney Lorcana, Palace Heist. So the first thing we're going to look at are the Battlegrounds. Now, the Battlegrounds will give abilities and bonuses to both the player and to Jafar. And as far as Jafar is concerned, these abilities affect his entire gameplay. So we need to know what they are and what effect they have on his deck in order to build a deck that's going to smash him. So Jafar has 4 Battlegrounds, which represent 4 different difficulties. We've got Jafar's Throne Room, which is easy. We have the Secret Passage, which is normal, the Crown Chamber, which is hard, and then Full Alert, which is extreme difficulty. Now, the point of this video is to make a deck that will beat Jafar on all 4 Battlegrounds. And considering that Full Alert has the worst abilities that we could face as a player, we are going to focus on that one. So you can see here that Jafar gets 2 abilities from this Battleground. First off, Jafar begins the game with Inkmote in play. Now that's really important because in Palace Heist, your job is to steal the crown from Jafar and get to 20 lore. If Jafar has a location in play, you cannot steal the crown, and he's got ways of stealing the crown from you. So the fact that he begins his game with a location in play is a big problem. However, it's not as big a problem as his other ability. So Jafar's locations gain evasive and +1 lore. Now normally, Inkmote isn't a problem. It's a 0 cost, 5 willpower location. It's vanilla, it doesn't do anything. However, on extreme mode, it is now a 5 willpower evasive location that gains 1 lore. Now having looked into Jafar's deck, I can tell you that he has 10 locations. 8 of those are unique, 2 of those are copies. Now, Jafar has to get to 40 lore and have the crown to win. But with 10 of these locations, with the majority of them gaining 2 lore a turn and having evasive, it's going to be a lot more difficult than taking out Ursula. The other problem we have with these locations is they all have pretty high willpower. The lowest one is 5, the highest one is 10, so taking a lot of evasive characters may be an idea. As well as Jafar getting bonuses, the players also get bonuses too. And this one, unlike some of the other ones, is genuinely really useful. So we have 1 Illumineer ability, we spend 4 lore, and a chosen character gains evasive this turn. Moving on then to all of the actions that Jafar has in his deck. So Jafar has 8 action cards in total, 7 of which are unique, with Sandblast having 2 copies. And unfortunately, there's no massive common theme between all of his actions. They all do slightly different things, and none of them, apart from 1, benefit the player at all. So we've got exert all opposing characters and they can't ready next turn, banishing player items or locations. He's even got one that gets himself 2 lore and then adds a card to his inkwell. But the worst of all of his actions is Cataclysmic Cyclone. It's a 6 cost action. Each Illumineer chooses one of their characters, items, or locations. Then Jafar banishes all other opposing characters, items, and locations. So basically, if you've got a full board of cards, you pick 1 card, that's the card you get to keep, everything else gets banished. And it's cards like that that make me think about playing Chernobog, for example, or maybe the new Namari. Cards that take advantage of things being in the discard pile. Now, in terms of items, Jafar only has 6, and only 3 of those are unique. So he has 4 copies of Mechanical Snake. It's a 0 cost and has Seize the Crown. When Jafar plays this item, he steals the Reforged Crown. It also has Disassembled Serpent. To exhaust this card, banish this item, Jafar gains 2 lore. He's also got Fiery Basin. It's a 2 cost, Face the Flames. At the start of Jafar's turn, he banishes this item to have each Illumineer choose one of their characters, and deal 4 damage to them. Now, this is something that Ursula did as well. Lots of what we call cheeky damage. Damage that isn't caused by characters or challenging, just cheeky damage that gets dealt to a player's characters. Now, the Illumineer, which is the player, chooses which one. This does not target a particular character, which means Ward will not help you because all of Jafar's indirect damage or cheeky damage is not targeted. So unfortunately, Ward, when it comes to Illumineer's quest, is quite pointless. Then he has Giant Hourglass. It's a 6-cost card and has Rising Sand. You exert this card, Jafar deals 1 damage to each opposing character. Now, unlike the other items in his deck, this one stays in play. So Jafar has 26 characters in total, 17 of which are unique, and they range all the way from 1 cost up to 7 cost. As you can see from the character cards here, the lore value is quite low. He's questing for 1s and 2s for the majority of his deck, with only 2 cards that come in questing for 3. So starting off then with Tiger Behemoth, it's at 7 cost, 7/8, quests for 3, and has Dreadful Stay. This character can't be challenged by damaged characters. And considering a lot of Jafar's deck will do cheeky damage, that could be a huge problem. His other 7 cost that is questing for 3 is the Gargantuan Cobra. It's a 7/5, quest for 3, has Serpent's Shadow. When Jafar plays this character, he deals 3 damage to each opposing exerted character. So you want to be questing, you want to be challenging, you want to be doing stuff with your characters, then he plays this, and everything takes 3 damage. Now the other 7 cost to be looking out for is the Metal Scorpion. It's got a strength of 8, but it has a willpower of 5, which isn't too bad. It quests for 2, however, it does have evasive. Now look at this Scorpion and tell me how on earth this thing is that fast. It's also got Simultaneous Strike. When Jafar plays this character, each Illumineer chooses and banishes one of their characters, one of their items, and one of their locations. Very nasty indeed. Now there are a couple of common themes in this deck. So first, let's look at the most annoying one, which is cards that steal back the crown. Now, Jafar has 4 cards that will steal back the crown from the player. He has 3 copies of Palace Guard, which, when Jafar plays this character, he steals the Reforged Crown. That's not too bad. It's an on-play ability. We're okay with that. However, he also has this Yargo. He is a 3/5 quest for 2, is evasive, and also has Gotcha. When this character quests, Jafar steals the Reforged Crown. This Yargle will steal the crown every time he quests. So really, we need to be spending resources taking out this Yargo before we re-steal the crown. He's also got some other characters that do pretty unique things. So for example, this Gazim is a 5 cost, has 4/5 quests for 2, and has Fighting Dirty. When Jafar plays this character, he deals 2 damage to each opposing damaged character. So there's that damaged character mechanic again. If your characters are not damaged, this Gazim does absolutely nothing. But if you've got a character with damage on it, then Gazim is coming for you. We've then got Jasmine, who's a 4 cost, 2/7, she's really tough to take out, and quests for 1. She has the ability over here. Whenever this character quests, Jafar draws a card. Then we've got the Sultan. He's a 4 cost, 3/5 quest for 2, and has the ability Pay Fealty. When Jafar plays this character, each Illumineer chooses and discards a card. If we are playing with our deck designed to take out Jafar, and we've got that key card in our hand, it's the only card we've got, and he plays Sultan, that key card is Gonzo. We've also got problems in the shape of the Treasure Guardian. It's a 2 cost, a 3/5, and a quest for 1. Has Shifting Sands. Illumineers can't use Battleground abilities. Now he's got 2 copies of that card, and what that does is it stops me from paying 4 lore to make a character of mine evasive for 1 turn. We've then got this Yargo. He's a 4 cost, 4/5, quest for 1, has Bodyguard, so he's making himself a bit of a target. All the bodyguards in this deck come with Jafar's Sentry, which means that this character enters play exerted. But this one also comes with Sound the Alarm. While this character is exerted, Jafar's locations can't be challenged. So you have to deal with this Yargo before you can even look at challenging a location. And unfortunately, Jafar has 2 copies of that Yargo. And it seems that Jafar has this fun mechanic where he likes to play with exerted characters. This genie is a great example. It's a 5-cost, 3/5 quest for 2 and has perfect timing. When Jafar plays this character, if each Illumineer has an exerted character in play, he gains 3 lore. Remember we talked about the fact that he only had 3 unique items, but 4 of those were Mechanical Snake? Well, if they weren't bad enough by banishing themselves to gain 2 lore, we also have Jafar. He's a 4-cost, 5/4 quest for 1 and has Return to Me. When Jafar plays this character, he plays all items named Mechanical Snake from his discard for free. Now, thankfully, this is the only copy of Jafar in this deck. But if he's played 4 Mechanical Snakes already, and for whatever reason we haven't been able to take them out, he's already gained 8 lore. Then Jafar goes down, brings back all 4 Mechanical Snakes in the same turn. The next turn, they exert to banish themselves again. He then makes another 8 lore. So potentially, he's going to make 16 lore from these snakes. And not only that, but when he brings them back from the discard, he will steal back the crown. Now, Jafar does have a couple of other characters that have evasive or are just vanilla cards, so they have no abilities. But for the most part, that is Jafar's deck. But let's not end this on a completely negative note. Let's take a look at this last card, the Monumental Scarab. It's a 5-cost, 8/8 quest for 2. Now, it is a nasty card, but there is a slight upside to this card, because it has a secret vulnerability. During the Illumineer's turn, they may pay 3 ink each to banish this character. I would happily spend 3 ink to get rid of this thing. Not a problem. No questions asked. Bye-bye, Monumental Scarab. So what have we learned from this deep dive into Jafar's deck and abilities that will take him out? So the first thing that we know is that we have to find a way to deal with those locations. And those locations are really tough to hit, especially when they are evasive. So potentially, we want to be taking some evasive characters with us. The other thing we know is that our Illumineer ability is going to cost 4 ink if we want to use it. So we're also going to want to take some big questers. And what I mean by that are characters that are going to be questing for like 3 and 4 turn to help pay for that, to build up that currency. Now, unlike Deep Trouble, we cannot just take a bunch of big questers and just race to the end. We have to have that crown. So I have to be challenging these locations and some of these characters to make sure that crown is mine by the end of the game. Which means I'm also going to have to be taking some big strength characters. Some real tough cookies. We also know Jafar is doing a bunch of cheeky damage. So it may also be an idea to take some resist. So with all that done, guys, I'm going to go away, I'm going to create a deck, and I'll be right back to show you guys what deck I made. We'll talk about why I'm taking certain things, and then we'll see if this deck can survive the Palace Heist Gauntlet. And welcome back, guys. So this is the deck that I'm going to be taking against Jafar in the Illumineers quest. As you can see, it is a Sapphire Emerald deck. It has a total of 60 cards with 4 copies of each card in the deck, which contains 10 characters, 3 actions, and 2 items. So we're going to go through this deck one by one. We're going to start with the lowest ink heading up to the highest. So beginning then with Cursed Merfolk, it's a 1-cost uninkable card, 0/1, and quest for 2. It also has Poor Souls. Whenever this character is challenged, each opponent chooses and discards a card. Now, we know that Jafar is never going to challenge us, so Poor Souls is actually quite a pointless ability to have in this deck. However, it's a 1-cost, the quest for 2, so yep, it's in the deck. We've then got this 1-cost inkable Flynn Rider. He's a 1/3 quest for 1 vanilla card. He is literally there for a shift target for another Flynn Rider we're going to talk about later on. Next up, we've got a 1-cost Inkable Pegasus. It's a 1/1, quest for 1, and has evasive. Again, this Pegasus is in the deck to be a shift target for a bigger Pegasus later down the line. We then come to our first action then. It's a 1-cost Uninkable Water Has Memory. This is one of my favourite cards of all of set 7. I love being able to manipulate people's decks, and this card does it well. Look at the top 4 cards of a chosen player's deck. Put one on the top of their deck and the rest on the bottom of their deck in any order. And we can use this in different ways. We can use this to know what's coming next. We can use this to get rid of his nasty cards. Or we can use it to manipulate his deck in such a way that maybe a really nasty card is coming up and it's like a 4 or 5 cost, but he's only got 3 ink. So we're going to send it to his inkwell, fully well knowing he cannot recover it at any point. Next up then, we've got a 2-cost Uninkable Hidden Inkcaster. It's got 2 abilities. First off, it's got fresh ink. So when you play this item, draw a card. But the other ability it has is Unexpected Treasure. All cards in your hand count as having the inkable symbol. So having one of these on the field will ensure that I can ink everything in my hand regardless of whether it is inkable or not. Next up, we've got a 2-cost Inkable Hideaway. Put chosen item or location into player's inkwell face down and exerted. It's a no-brainer for Hideaway. Jafar's got locations. We want to get rid of his locations. 2-cost Hideaway. No fuss. Just off you go. Then we've got Sail the Azurite Sea. It's a 2-cost inkable card. This turn, you may put an additional card from your hand into your inkwell face down, which is really great because that increases the amount of ink we can have, and also draw a card. Next up, we've got a 2-cost Inkable Tipo. He's a 1/2 quest for 1 and has the ability Measure Me Again. When you play this character, you may put a card from your hand into your inkwell face down and exerted. Again, Tipo mainly there to help with the ramp. And then we come to one of the most amazing cards in not just this deck, but the entire game of Lorcana full stop. It's Diablo, Devoted Herald. He's a 2/2 quest for 1, 3-cost Uninkable card. Now he does have a shift, which is to discard an action card. We're not going to be using that. I think 3-cost is fairly cheap, especially for this card. He is also evasive, which is going to help with those locations, and he comes with this wonderful ability, Circle Far and Wide. During each opponent's turn, whenever they draw a card while this character is exerted, you may draw a card. Now, base minimum, Jafar always draws 2 cards a turn. Which means if I've got a Diablo on the field and it's exerted, I draw once for my turn and twice for Jafar's. That is 3 cards I'm drawing a round. You may be sitting there thinking, well, that's really dangerous. However, if you look at the wording here, you may draw a card. You don't actually have to do it. Maybe I'm still looking for that card and I need to ink a bunch of stuff. Well, that's fine because I've got ramp. It allows me to play those extra cards into my inkwell. Speaking of ramping up my ink production, we've got a 3-cost inkable Great Stone Dragon. He comes in with 2 abilities. First off, it's asleep, so it enters play exerted, and it also has Awaken. You exert this item, put a character from your discard into your inkwell face down and exerted. Now, this is one of my favourite ways to ramp because you're not taking off the top of your deck blindly, you're not getting rid of things from your hand that you might want to keep, you're taking things from the discard. And we all know that Jafar has some cheeky damage units, so I'm expecting things to end up in the discard quite a lot. Next up, we've got this 3-cost inkable Winnie the Pooh. He's a 2/3 quest for 2 and has Honeypot. Whenever this character quests, you may put a card from your hand into your inkwell face down. So again, we're looking to fill that inkwell as quickly as possible using all of these cards, plus Winnie the Pooh, he quests for 2. Although that was technically Tigger, but you know what I mean, right? He quests for 2, and that's great because we also want to quest as quickly as possible. Then we've got the first of our shiftable cards. It is this Flynn Rider. He's a 4-cost uninkable card. Quests for 4, has a 2/3 stat line, and he shifts for 2. But he also has 2 other abilities. He's firstly got evasive, which is great for those locations. And he also has one last big score. This character gets -1 law for each card in your opponent's hand. Jafar plays his entire hand every turn, which means by the time it's my turn to play cards, he will have 0 cards in hand, which means Flynn Rider in this deck is absolutely amazing because he quests for 4 every single time, guaranteed. Next up then we've got Tinkerbell. She's a 4-cost inkable card, 2/3, quest for 2, and has evasive, again to help with those locations. And she also has Pixie Dust. When you play this character, chosen character gains evasive this turn. It's a nice little bonus. If I need to do some extra damage to a location, I can play Tink, stick evasive onto another character, job done. And speaking of putting evasive onto other characters, we have our second shift character. It's a 5-cost inkable Pegasus, 3/3 quest for 2. He shifts for 3, so again he's nice and cheap for shifting, has evasive, and hop on. When you play this character, if you used shift to play him, your characters gain evasive until the start of your next turn. So unlike Tinkerbell, that when you play her she gives 1 character evasive, Pegasus, if you used shift to play him, will give all of your characters evasive. That means if there's a location in play that needs a lot of damage done to it, I can shift this Pegasus, give everything evasive, and head on in a massive blaze of glory. And last up then, we have this 7-cost inkable Peter Pan. He's a 4/6, quest for 1, and has 2 abilities. Look innocent. This character enters play exerted. Now normally you'd think, boo, that's not great. But wait, there's more. Second ability, can't take a joke. While this character is exerted, each opposing player can't gain lore unless one of their characters has challenged this turn. Now what is the one thing that we know Jafar's characters will never do? That's right, they never challenge. So Pan's ability stops Jafar from gaining lore, full stop. It's not questing, it's gaining lore. That means his characters can't gain lore, his locations can't gain lore. If he had actions and items that would gain him lore, guess what? No lore. Those mechanical snakes that are going to banish themselves to gain 2 lore, not happening. And because Jafar's characters will never challenge him, they can't stop him from doing it. Now, he can do cheeky damage to Pan, but Pan's also got 6 willpower. That is pretty hefty, and we've got 4 of these in the deck, which means I'm probably going to play 1 and keep 1 in reserve just in case 1 gets taken out. And there we have it, guys. That is the deck that I'm taking in against Jafar. Let me know in the comments below, is this a deck you would take? Would you take different cards? Would you take 4 of everything? Or would you take less? What would your ideas and tactics be to play against Jafar? Let me know in the comments below. And while you're down there, do me a favour, click that like button, click that share button, and turn on your notification bell. Because coming up really soon are going to be the videos where I take on Jafar using this deck in a little series that I like to call
The Gauntlet.
And if you did like this video, do me a favour, if you're not a subscriber, click that subscribe button. I've got a goal to get to 500 subscribers this year, and we're nearly on 400, so click that subscribe button. And the last thing before I go, I would like to give a special shout out to Stu, to Alana, to Tony, and to Jordan for lending me some cards to be able to build this deck. But until next time, I have been the Atomic Ninja G, you guys have been awesome, and this has been How to Beat Jafar at Illumineers Quest Palace Heist video.